Charlie Fittler played his first Tamworth Country Music Festival at the age of 13 and attended the Academy of Country Music in 2018. He's just released his debut EP, Dying Breed, which is a collection of 4 original songs and a Slim Dusty cover. Charlie lives and works on the land and brings this experience to his country music, and the EP is fantastic. Hi, Charlie.
Hey, Sophie, how's it going?
I'm going very well, and I've been listening to this EP since it came out on high rotation, I have to say. It is a wild and entertaining ride in so many ways, but I'm actually going to start by saying that track 2 has to have a contender for the best song title of the year, and that is Buck and Luck. And I always like to say quietly, it's a song about the dangers of being a rodeo rider. But the last time we spoke, I recall you mentioning that you wanted to get on a bull or a bronc or a buck and bronc, but your manager, you thought your manager wouldn't let you do it. Has that happened?
No, not yet. No, I want to get on a bronc, but I've been playing a couple rodeos, and I always tell him when he books them that in the entries I've got to have free entry into the bronc ride, but he never puts that in the contract. No. Useless.
But it is like, for someone who doesn't ride broncs or bulls, you certainly evoke the experience. And because I've interviewed bull riders. I once worked on a book about bull riding, and when I heard that song, I was like, yeah, it's just that attitude of, oh, well, I may die, but I'm not going to stop what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So where did where did you start with that song? Like, was it just watching riders you've seen at rodeos and stuff and thinking you wanted to document that experience?
Yeah. I've always been caught up in I played polocross, been playing polocross for years and years and years. Always had a lot to do with horses, and I've been to a lot of rodeos and done a lot of breaking horses and done a heap of them. And I thought it'd be a good song. It's sort of a good track to an EP. Throw one in, and yeah, I had a few words actually written down in a notepad there for a while. And when I went down the second time with Bill Chambers, I showed him lyrics and I was like, oh, yeah, that could work. Worked on that. That chorus changed probably 5 times. Like, we can never get it right. Every 2 weeks we'll touch base about the song, and then one day we got it when I went down to Bill's. Another time we got the chorus, and we was like, oh well, it's pretty funny. We were just laughing about it. It was like, it's a bit of a funny song, and then whipped up Buck and Luck, and we thought it'd be a bit of an anthem type song. Because I do play a fair few rodeos, so it'd be a good song to throw in there.
I bet it goes down a treat there.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's just the first time I was like, oh, this is absolute gold. Clearly I'm very enamored with it. And while the song is about the experiences of being a rider, it's also about doing what you love and taking chances on it. That's my interpretation of it. And I think the same could be said of music, really.
Yeah, that's it, 100%. There's a lot of chances in both. One, you might die, so probably not exactly the same as singing, but yeah.
But still, like, there are risks, like putting yourself out there, particularly when you're writing your own songs. It's a risky endeavor.
Oh, it is. I think there's risks in all jobs, but music definitely has its risks, 100%. Especially starting out careers, it's a tough old business.
Well, and standing up at a rodeo, you're performing in front of a crowd that is there to be entertained, and they're after, adrenaline entertainment, really. So I would think that it's not exactly, beers being thrown at you or whatever, but I would imagine there are some moments when you're like, oh, I've got to really keep a lid on this.
Yeah. Oh, rodeos are pretty fun. You get some wild crowds there. But I don't mind it. I reckon it's good fun. Throwing a few beers, as long as they're full.
Yeah, right. As long as they land intact on the stage, right?
Yeah, that's it.
I should have said, when you mentioned polocross, that always looks like quite a violent horseback sport, or potentially violent.
Yeah, it is a fair bit. Yeah, I've played polocross for years and years. Been slowing down the last 2 years. It's been hard. Polocross is on weekends, and most times gigs are majority on weekends too. So it's been hard to go to a few carnivals, but still got a couple of horses running around here and still use horses for work a lot. But yeah, hopefully try and fit in a couple more carnivals at the end of the year.
Now, you wrote the title track of the EP, which is Dying Breed, with your older brother, Tom. Do you have plans to write other songs with him, or was that just like he happened to wander into your songwriting process?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, when I come up with a song, it was totally different. It was, I was just, playing around with it, and he was at home, he don't even know what he was doing. Anyway, I was singing this song, he's like, oh, who wrote that? And I was like, me. And he's like, oh, not bad. Anyway, I sat down and I think we're just in the mood for writing songs, and yeah, we wrote Dying Breed at the kitchen table one afternoon. So, and I looked at it and was like, oh, it's kind of cool. And even when we were recording in the studios, it was pretty funny because we had like barely any tabs or any charts written out for this song. All I had was a voice recording on my phone, and I showed that to the band while we were in the studio, and not one of us thought that song would be the title track, but here it is. It was the title track of the EP, so it's got a pretty funny story behind it.
Now, you mentioned the musicians, and you do have some very high caliber musicians playing on this, including Rod Motley and Jeff McCormack. Mick Albeck plays fiddle, and of course Bill Chambers, who produced it, contributes as well. It must have been great to see your songs come to life with those musicians.
Oh, it was awesome. Like the whole process of doing the EP, it was a fair long process from the start of writing the songs till the day you're in the studio. And we only had the studio for a day, so I was in and out and trying to do the best as we can. And there was a lot going on from that morning till night. Yeah, we finished up pretty late there at night, but it was pretty cool to see the songs all come together, but come together with musicians that can bring it. Just that's their profession. Like I couldn't get any better musicians that played on this track, and it shows. And I reckon the boys did a fantastic job, and I've always been happy with what the boys did that day. Yeah.
So the whole EP was recorded in a day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Majority. We were all the band, all the tracks. So the guitar, bass, drums, a lot of my vocal was recorded that day, just in the studio, and then we did a little bit of a couple vocal takes at Bill's studio. Yeah. Yeah.
So Bill obviously worked with you on Buck and Luck, and is the producer. I can't help saying that song title again, Charlie. But why was he the right producer for you for this EP?
I got in touch with Bill through my manager, and when I first wrote the song Gypsy Soul, which is on the EP and Buck and Luck, and the whole process of the songwriting, and we did a couple rough demos when we did the songs. And I love the way Bill was with the recording process. Like I really liked the way that he did it, and from the very get go, we always had plans of doing the EP, and there was no other people except for Bill Chambers that I wanted on that EP.
Mm-hmm. Now, Gypsy Soul track 3 is a bit of a love song, but what impressed me about it was that you sing it like you've lived it, like you sounded a bit old and almost weary, which is a compliment in that, you're not old and you're not weary. So I'm wondering what the story was behind the song.
Oh, I had a bit like all my songs, you always get, I've got 50, 100 different, on your notes of your phone. I just have a song, a few lyrics come to me, and I had a heap of them, and I always liked that song. And I had a nice little verse in there. And when me and Bill worked on it, it was that was the first time we met. We wrote that song, right. And yeah, we just got in that whole mood of that song, and it just kept flowing on the paper, to be honest. And by the end of it, we did that demo that night, and we always knew that song was definitely going to be on the EP. It was that song was more of a getting to know me and Bill's writing, getting to know each other in a way. Yeah, where we write love songs, a bit cute, isn't it?
It's a bit of a heartbreaker, really. And I was wondering, when you went into the studio, did you like to connect with the story? And it's almost like you inhabiting a role when you're singing it, because as I said, you're not old, you're not weary, but there was a world weariness to the tone of it.
Yeah, I had to take a box of tissues into the day when I did that. Nah, I'm joking. Yeah, 100%. That was a massive thing with me, because I've done limited amount of time in studios, and I tell you what, it is the difference from recording in a studio like vocal takes to getting up on stage at a gig or a show is completely different. Like every single thing, everything's looked at with fine tooth comb. Like it's all about emotion. Like you can get up there and energetic on stage, but in the studio, it's got to be spot on. You write a love song, you got to be in that moment. You write a hype song, you've got to, you got to be bloody looking like Rocky going on. It's a hard one. I tell you, I'm still getting used to it. I'm no expert at all in the studio, and but yeah, you really got, as I talk to a lot of different people. Everyone's got a lot of different. Some people, when they go into studios, it's like they have traditions. You know, they won't talk for a day before, or they'll do that many exercises, make sure everything's perfect. You know, like everyone's got their own unique, little different little things they do with recording in the studios. Mine's a bit yeah, I don't really have one yet.
Well, I don't think that you needed anything too tricky, because you did a great job, and you also inhabited track 4, which is Cowboy Angels, beautifully. Now there is a story behind that song, and it's not a great one. So I'm wondering if you can tell me about it.
It's back when COVID was on, when COVID was like in lockdown, we were at home. I was still at school doing year 12. I got a message from a good mate of mine that I grew up with, that one of our good mates had passed away the night before, and we couldn't get, well, I couldn't get to Gunnedah to go to the funeral. It was a bit of a rough spot there for a fair while. Like you can't do anything when we're in lockdown, and all we do is, you know, ring up the boys and, you know, always stay in contact, but always wanted to write a song. So I sat down, and for ages I wrote that song. Like it didn't happen overnight. There was always bits that, you know, because it's a long process of, you know, losing a mate, and, you know, it was quite the same process with writing that song. And I always had that song, and it was I always had a connection to that song that was different to any other song I've written. And I tell you what, like recording that song and putting on the EP, it was a bit more special than any other the songs on the EP. But yeah, it's got a good story, and I wanted to write the song for other people too, for other people to connect to it. But yeah, it's a bit of I try not to think of the song as a sad song, but more of a good memory, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, and I think where it's unusual is that, yeah, it sort of acknowledges that there might be an afterlife of sorts. You're basically saying, you know, you hope the Cowboy Angels are escorting your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's a little more positive than it could have been. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I didn't want to write it. You know, I had no intentions of writing the song, the saddest song I could. I had no intentions. Didn't have to be a sad song at all. But no, I was always, yeah, the song's a little bit closer to me than any of the others. But yeah,
I understand why, and you sing it like it is as well. But then for the last track on the EP, we have quite a shift, because it's a cover of a Slim Dusty and Stan Costa written song, "Battle with the Roan." It's a great tale. How did you come to pick that one to cover?
"Battle with the Roan." That's an old tune, that one. I've been listening to that song for years. Everyone listens to the old "Battle with the Roan." And yeah, when we were doing the recording for the EP, we were thinking about, you know, what could be the 5th song. We had a few ideas, and my manager Chris, he said, "What about if we do a cover?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know. Like, you know, I was thinking about doing all my own songs on it." And he's like, "No, I want you to go through a heap of old songs, Slim songs, any songs. Just send me what you want." And I was like, "You know what? Let's do a cover of the old the Great Australian Pioneer of Country Music." And we didn't want to do any of the songs. Like the more I wanted to be an old Stockman, old bushy song. So we picked Battle of the Rhone, been listening to it for years, and it was a bit of a tribute and a bit of a thanks, and a bit of honour to the people that were the pioneers of Australian country music, and we thought it fitted in real well with the rest of the song. So it's a great song. That always loved listening to it, and it was great to record it too. Love the song. We've had in the pipeline for a while that we want to do a video shoot to it. So I've been trying to find a real rank bronc that's roan, and we're just gonna buck it out.
I particularly enjoy the way you deliver the line about, the Merino started thinking that it's going to be yours. But you do perform the song with a different singing voice than for the other 4 songs. And I imagine that you were channeling Slim a little in the way you were.
It's a ballad song. You're singing like a ballad. It's a long ballad, and it was a bit of a fun song to record. As we didn't try to do anything too fancy, and we just left it how it is, and we just sang the ballad. That's it.
So you're still thinking of making the video?
Oh yeah, it's in the pipeline. Just haven't.
As soon as you find the horse, right?
Yeah, it's got to find a real rank roan horse. Yeah, that's about it.
So given, just going back to what you said about, being in the studio is so different to singing live, because you have a lot of live experience already, and you play in all sorts of different environments. Do you enjoy the studio experience compared with?
I love it. The day that we did all the recording, the blokes that are in there are the most supportive, and they want the best for you. Like they're in there to do as best as they can for your music, and I love being in the studio. It's great sitting there all day, and the best thing is you can sit on the couch behind the producers and listen to your songs just come to life. Like these songs have been such a long process, and they're all coming together. Like that's probably one of the best feelings, to be honest, with the whole studio production. But it's different. It's different to get into, especially vocal. Like there's a fair bit of pressure there, but you just got to realise that there isn't. You can't have that on your mind in the studio. But every word you sing in that studio is looked at, listened to 20 times, and by the end of it, you're sick of listening to that song. You're stuff this song. But no, at the end of it, when you get the mixed copy, you're like, woof, that's all the hard work's paid off,
Yeah.
The studio is great. I do love getting in there.
Yeah. But speaking of playing live, you do have some shows coming up, including during Hats Off to Country in Tamworth, which is in early July. Now, a lot of your shows seem to be outdoors. Does the cold weather bother you? Because where you live, it often gets cold.
Cold weather bother me. Oh no, I work every day at Black Mountain, probably one of the cold. I've been contracting there at Black Mountain there for the past couple months, and here, there, everywhere. When you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and the frost is sitting on the back of the steers' backs, it's cold, and you're out there sitting on a horse. It's miserable. Yeah, so it doesn't really worry me when I'm playing to a gig out in the cold. Oh, well, I tell you, we don't do too many in the cold, but once you're singing and you're pumping around a bit, it's not that bad. Doesn't affect you. But I don't hate the cold, but don't love it. No. Yeah.
Well, and also, I guess, as a singer, all these things can affect your voice. So you have to make adaptations for everything that's going on.
Yeah, it does a bit, but sometimes you just got to just battle on. It is what it is, can't do much about it. Get up there and sing.
Now, do you practice your singing to the steers, or do they not get any private concerts from you?
Oh, a lot of yelling at them. But, sometimes do a bit of singing. They probably get sick of it. That's why they're... But, when you're at work, sometimes you might... have a singing day where you just walk around singing songs. You got a song stuck in your head, but sometimes all you're doing is just work. But I love it. But it's singing finds its place at work sometimes.
Do you get ideas for songs while you're on horseback? Because I don't think that would be a convenient location for you to make notes.
Oh no, I just do it on my phone, texting and riding. Yeah.
Yeah. Recording a voice memo.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Oh, I've had a few funny ones. I had an interview here not long ago when the EP come out, and I think there was a radio station. They were great people, and they rang up a bit earlier for the interview. And I was sitting on a horse, and I had dogs going everywhere, cattle everywhere, and trying to do this, talk about the EP and stay out of the wind. Yeah, you have some pretty funny ones, but yeah, no, it's good fun. But yeah, don't hate it. I love it. Love that kind of stuff. It's good fun.
And I would think it would have been appropriate to have all of that going on in the background of an interview about this EP in particular.
Yeah, especially when they sit there in the studio with their headphones on, you're trying to call the dog back and get back here. Yeah. Nah, it's good fun, but I guess that's just how it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's your work. It's your working life. So in terms of more recording, are you looking ahead to possibly doing some of that? I presume you have some more songs you want to record.
The day after recording, you're always thinking about the next time you're recording. It never stops. You never stop thinking about that next song that you're going to record. I guess that's just what it is. You've always got to be looking at the future. For when you drop a EP here, you got to be looking at the next one straight away. And yeah, it's in the pipeline, and we're just trying to get a few songs together and waiting for the right ones, but also just loving to see our Dying Breed's first EP that's out. So it's great to see how it's going, and hopefully ride it as much as we can, and yeah, try and get that EP out as much as we can. Yeah. That's well, the main focus at the moment. Yeah.
Certainly deserves to be heard because it's wonderful. As I said, I have it on high rotation. Charlie Fittler, it's been great to talk to you about it.
Same goes, Sophie. I appreciate it. Thank you.